project manager for the Tehidy project, so this will be for displaying what a round would have looked like at Tehidy. So this is on my map, so we've tried, well, we have all done a mind map each, and then we've all kind of collated them all together. So this is the overall mind map, which displays things like assets, environment, location, and just like what NPCs we might see, the combat and mechanics, and then the Gantt chart, which I did pretty much at the very beginning, just so that I can organise everything, getting everything into the different sprints, and hopefully it's quite easy to understand. Okay, and then mood boards. We did this.
Just flip through it, yeah.
Okay. So we got the environment, the character, the roundhouse, asset. So I did a mood board for each of the different things, just so that they're easy to see and get ideas from. Hey.
Hello. So basically, towards the project, so this slide is showing the use of spline, the spline tool basically, and landscaping, lighting, a very basic lockout. So the next one, please. So these are the images using the spline tool to create the paths basically, and I've also done procedural foliage in this one as well, so kind of like implemented both of them in the same scene. Yeah, so obviously with this experimented like doing the curves and everything, using the landscape experience as well to create this scene. So this is a selection of things that I've done my research on. So there's the procedural placement, object placement, so that's putting foliage on assets, just basically like pivot points, collisions, the blending of assets into the ground, and then there's automatic landscape materials, so when you build the landscape it actually automatically just creates another layer, so I wanted to have a look at stuff like that, and basically introduce myself to materials that I can then implement into the project. So these are the screenshots of what I've implemented into the game. So obviously spline tool for the fence barrier around the settlement. I've put the Niagara rain system in near the coast basically. So I've used mega scans, I have done the texturing and put in mega scans with that, and then the procedural foliage for the trees and the outside. The next one please. These are just more images basically, so I put the stones in, and obviously Quixel Mixer to change the texturing. So the top right, when I created new materials, which are the ones just below, using the Quixel Mixer, just to basically enhance the texturing. So I redid that, and obviously the trees just more, I've used the landscape tool to like flatten them out, and the trees were a bit wonky, so I fixed that. And then my last slide, basically more Megascan stuff. So the next stage is to add more foliage, more trees, work on the outside area of the settlement, more detail around the coastal area, you know, play some more Megascan stuff. That's the plan of action. You know, adding just loads of other assets basically. So that's where I'm up to.
Okay, so I've been working on the world building as well. So I first started off looking at procedural foliage, just trying to get that in place so we can get the foliage done pretty quickly in the game. So, and then I went on to just doing really basic research, just getting the Megascan stuff in, the nanite, and just really basic landscaping. And then I went on to sorting out water. So I've looked at water physics, which I didn't actually get to completely work properly, but it is functional to some degree. And water caustics and waves, and things like rivers and water bodies and things like that. And then there's a few of those things I've done using the stuff that I've learned. So throughout the research I've done scenes, just to demonstrate how things can be added into a game. Okay. I've looked at caves as well. So this was the very first look at caves, but it didn't work out, so I then went on to that one. And I also did the more detailed block out for the game round as well. Other things I've looked at is weather systems, night and day, and then just getting the displacement maps and just texturing done for the game as well. So, I have also looked at particles, which I have implemented into the game, and I have done a lot of the asset placement for the game as well, in particular around the ground. And then just more asset placements, just getting everything in place, and then the pixel where the particle system is, just getting loads of flies and stuff around them. And I think that's everything.
Okay, I'm the character concept designer and modeler for the project. Initially I started out on paper, but then I realized it wasn't working out, so I decided to do it on Photoshop with a rough template. Next. I managed to accumulate upwards of 6 different model sheets of characters, 3 for male, 3 for female. These were a couple of human models I attempted on 3ds Max. I watched a couple of tutorial videos on how to model them. Eventually I decided to ditch it when I found out I can import a human model from Substance onto 3ds Max. Next. And this is the aforementioned Substance human I started modeling on 3ds Max. I took inspiration from various Celtic clothing in the Iron Age. Also, to save time on the shirt and the trousers, I selected the polygons of the human body and I cloned them and I applied a shell to them to make it look like he's wearing clothes. It is kind of difficult to see due to the colour of the clothing matching the skin, but it is worth pointing out. This is a render I have done of the same human. I haven't textured it yet, but I will do that now.
No, you're not. Needs a lot more detail. Okay. Okay.
To start with, I did a mood board on roundhouses,
Yeah.
and then moved on to some concept art for the roundhouses in the game, and
Uh-huh.
a little bit of UI concept, but that kind of got pushed aside for the other bits that needed to go in because UI was like way down the line. Next. And then these are some more concepts of insides. I did kind of a basic one, but then added more because obviously they're lived in, so there would be a lot more items inside, so I added those in. And then tried to colour, but I'm not very good at that, so it looks a bit rubbish, but moving on. I then moved on to I did some coding first, because I was asked to pick up on some coding, so I did that. But then 3D models needed to be picked up on, so I moved on to doing some of those as well. So I did the roundhouse walls, and then an anvil and a sickle. And then I was learning a lot about texturing during this, so they're not the best renders that they could be, because I didn't fully understand how to plug certain maps into. I need to do more research, because every time I try it seems to mess up. But they came out okay. And then I also did a fence, a clay pot and a forge, and these textures are beginning to come out a lot better. I did these after. Adding dirt to them, I need to figure out how to add more dirt onto the bottom, because every time I tried to do that, it was kind of just going all over the model rather than just at the bottom, and I was struggling with that. But I like how these ones came out. I was also trying to model a sheep. I have 3 versions of it, because the first one, the topology messed up, so I couldn't unwrap it. The second one, I can't remember what happened to it, but it didn't go well. The third one's going okay, and it's unwrapped. I'm just now struggling with the texturing, because I'm trying to texture it in Mudbox, but I'm struggling with the stamp tools and stuff. It's coming out all different colours wrong, and so I need to look at that. I think that's it for my slides. Yeah. So
Rebecca is obviously here.
But to do, I've got coding to do again, because obviously that's my main thing I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll be doing a main menu and then like a death or win screen, depending on the outcome of whatever the player does. And then I will be doing some more modelling to help catch up. So I'll be doing beds, an animal rug, finish the sheep, and hopefully a chicken.
Okay.
And coding AI interaction. So I've got AI that walk around, but they don't do anything other than walk, and I want them to like carry stuff and pick stuff up.
Cool.
I do have a little video of the code working if you want to see that.
Yeah, good, handy.
Yeah. It's in the same folder that this is in. And it's is it this folder? No, sorry, go back to Workshare. It's in progress footage. And then the Tehidy, that one on there. Down.
Tehidy walking
Walking NPCs.
Can we that full screen, Adam? Good.
Full screen it.
So this one just does a loop around the pig farm. This one goes from one building, and eventually we'll hopefully be carrying something to another building. And they're all walking along splines, so they're easy to add new ones in if we need it, and then you just edit the spline to do it. And then this one's just kind of walking around in a loop around the entire village, so they just keep doing that.
It's looking good.
And I think that's it so far.
Okay, obviously Rebecca's stuff's really good. Okay.
Rebecca has got a video presentation.
Oh, brilliant. Awesome.
It's in
the presentation folder.
I think Kelly put one in there as well, so
Oh, good.
just in
Excellent.
case the video
Good.
doesn't work.
Which is this one?
Hello, I'm Rebecca. For this project,
Can you turn up just a bit?
You can't. Just
where I mainly
sounds rubbish. I can sort it out.
concepts, but I did a little bit of everything. Most of my concepts were rough sketches of the Iron Age round and what it would look like. As there were not many visual references available, this was quite challenging, as we had to make sure everything was actually Iron Age and fitting for the era. Next, I also worked on rough maps for the round itself. I came up with 4 ideas for the level design team to work from. I also developed 2 mood boards at the start of the project, which helped in the creation of concept art and 3D models. After concept art was completed, I worked on 18 3D models, 15 props, and 3 animals. These models were made with 3ds Max, Mudbox, and textured in Mudbox Photoshop and Substance Paint art.
has
also
a
got a
video,
video.
but she doesn't, hers hasn't got speech because she just made it this
Okay.
morning, I think. So it's just a video of her.
A video of her showing stuff.
Cool. Okay, good.
Hello, I'm Ben, and what I've been doing, I have started off doing some concept art for some assets. I started off with the bees and the beehive for environmental background stuff. I also did some concept art for some like herbs such as fennel, common sorrel, garlic, parsley. I also did some concept art of the wooden bowls and plates. We should move that out of the way. Go back. Just like move that out of the way. I did a sword a while back, but I wasn't happy with it because I wasn't happy with how it looked when textured, and I tried to do a bit of rope around the hilt. It didn't come out quite right, so I decided I want to make a new one, make it look a lot better. So next slide. This is the sword that I ended up making. It looks a lot more better, and at the time I wasn't using Mudbox or Substance Painter, but since I started learning Substance Painter, I decided to incorporate that into my new sword, and then I went and made a nice little vase right here. Yeah, and that's my bit. That was me. So, my side's while I'm doing this. So, I've mainly done one of my main roles was doing quite a lot of the paperwork for the project. So I made firstly I made an audio list for what audio we needed for the project. I also made a proposal outlining the idea that we're going to propose. I did originally make a Celtic cross, but it was quickly discovered that it wasn't appropriate for the time, so I ended up bidding that. I've also done I also did the HP for this project, so I was looking basically just an outline of what we're doing. And I've also now started to work on the cart for this project. This is just a basic. Unfortunately, some of the scaling on the cart at the moment isn't quite right, so I'm going to be going. So now the plan is I'm going to go and fix some of the scaling, to try and unwrap it again, and then hopefully make it all look better in 3ds Max, and then obviously in Substance texture it.
Sorry, I didn't know when my song was. Right, so this is very old code. It still works, but it's just old. I haven't put any new because I have a lot of it, so I've got a video instead to show you all I've done. Yeah, it should be the last video, I think, gameplay. Yeah, so I think first I'll show that the AI moves towards you and starts attacking. I've got camera lock as well, so you can lock onto the enemy. You can attack it. When it's lost sight of you, it will go in random directions. It will, and then you can. I've got a combo attack.
Oh, you got the blood in there as well. Nice one.
Yeah, blood effect, which only took 5 minutes from downloading like blood. Dies after losing all its health. This one I've got shows the assassination. Which is kind of cool. Kills that, and a little collision issue there. I've got sprint, which is showing at the bottom. It's just camera lock again. I'm showing. I've got stuff like jump animation, and then player can crouch as well underneath things. think that was it though for the animation. That's most of it.
That's a bit impressive. Isn't it?
What I need to do is add basically damage and a sword to the AI so that the player can die now. I think the player can also, I think the player can die, it's just not, it can't receive any damage at the moment because nothing's dealing it to it. So it just needs to, the AI just basically needs to attack the player, and then that's practically all the core mechanics done, and then we could get into stuff like maybe survival time or points depending on how many enemies you manage to kill before you die or something like that, or if I really have time, like maybe a kill quest, so when you kill a chief, you know, you win the game or something like that. Right?
I'm Ben, I'm the 3D team lead for this project. I started off this project with making an asset list, making sure to also include lists, like images to these assets, so that if anybody didn't have any idea what they were modelling, they could easily find a reference image. This is one of the first models I started making at the beginning of the project, which was a hammer. And then same with all these are like very early versions of stuff I've made. Most of them have been redone because I wasn't exactly either happy with them or they weren't exactly made in a way that would make them easy to texture. And then these are some early textures I've applied to them in 3ds Max just to make them look nice for earlier presentations. These are the models I've currently fully finished and rendered with using Substance to texture them. I've tried to kind of give them as much detail and make them as realistic looking as possible. The axe does have like a little problem on the side, but nothing too large. And then this is the model I'm currently working on at the minute. This is a model I've kind of managed to salvage a little bit for the sphere by using an older one and just getting rid of some of the stuff and then making it look more accurate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think in general it's looking pretty good. Okay, all right.
That you've got of like looking around it and stuff so they can see everything in place.
I don't have an updated version of that.
Okay.
Okay, well I've seen it. It's pretty good. Okay, all right.
I think I've seen it briefly. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
So overall, I think it's okay at the moment. Obviously, the deadline was today. There'll be one or two people probably getting a fail, if I'm being really honest. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, well, I'll go through everybody because I think I don't want to point the fingers at anybody, but I think I need to crack the whip a little bit on one or two people.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I think you need to understand that. Okay, all right, okay, all right. So I think Chloe and Emily, brilliant. No problems there. Seriously, okay. All right, okay.
You guys have done excellent.
No, honestly, you've been working your ass off, you two. The only thing I would say, I think, you know, I think when you're placing objects in, okay, think a lot more about, like I said, think a lot more about the whole, like I talked to you, the whole realism thing, the size of things in relation to the size of other objects, like the people, okay. As far as level design goes, like I said, I've got 3D models about this as well. Get rid of those hard edges. I've already told you about that. Okay, but everyone's guilty of that. Okay, all right. When you're modelling stuff, there's too many. You know, I keep saying I call them fuck off straight edges because they just scream at you, and it stands out a mile basically. Okay, all right. Okay, excuse the language, but that's the way I call it. Basically. I want it to stick. I want that to just stick in your heads.
So I'm still trying to get into the habit of
Yeah,
chamfering
it looks
everything.
awful, honestly. Okay, all right.
Shine for everything.
No, not sham for everything. It's just everything's like literally looks like it's been tape measured. Okay, or you've got like an electric plane, just literally, you know, sawed it off like a plank, which you wouldn't have. All right. So you know, again, Rebecca's tower looks great, but I'll rough that up. I'm going to rough that up a little bit. Okay. The huts look great, but the doorways just look perfect.
Yeah, the doorways definitely were.
Yeah, they need to be a bit more like that. Yeah. Okay. Same as like the windows, and I don't think the windows or the shovel things.
Yeah, I think I ended up struggling to get all that in because I was struggling to make them, and then like under pressure for getting them done really quick, so I kind of just threw like I kind of just did it. And was
Yeah, it's
right,
like
I'll do
you're
that
booleaning them
rather
out
than
like that,
trying to-
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So in the future, I was going to say, think about if this is a handmade thing, you wouldn't have those real hard edges.
Yeah, because
Okay.
what I did then was I got a polygon and I extruded it backwards and that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So try and avoid that. And like I
did
said,
try and
you know,
chamfer the edges, but it didn't look great.
I've
Yeah.
smoothed it off a little bit when I retouched.
yeah.
Okay.
So what you need to do, it doesn't matter what you're modelling, guys. I don't care how straight it is. You know, all you got to do. Whenever I do anything like this, I will literally just move a few pixels about so that you get a slight little thing like that, and
A
it's
little
makes all the
imperfections.
difference.
With my
Okay.
fence, I think you can see it better in the game.
The fence looks pretty good actually.
I did move the fence so that the wood wasn't straight,
Yeah.
it was different shapes.
Yeah,
like a-
the fence looks actually pretty good. That's actually quite a good
I'm
one.
very
That.
proud of the
Yeah.
fence.
Okay. So things like spears. I think I've told everybody this already, but spears, axe, anything that's straight. All you got to do is just move a few little pixels about and just get a slight little.
makes it look a lot
It
better.
does. It does. Yeah, it's made out of wood. It's not going to be full on straight. It won't be. It'll be
It's going to be a wonky,
it
isn't
will be a
it?
little bit wonky. Yeah. Okay. Same as metal. Just throw a few little pixels out. Makes all the difference. Okay. All right. Especially when you add a pixel or something to it and add a scratcher to it. That makes it look a million times better. Okay. I think what we need to do, and that's what, again, level design, I've already mentioned to both of you, is make sure that when we're looking, when we present it, that initial sort of opening view of the round looks really nice. Okay, because I think that's probably what they're going to print on the great big sheet of perspex. So that needs to be really good quality. If that could be printed out this sort of size, it might be even bigger than that. I don't know.
Like 8.
It might be huge. Okay, so we need to make sure that that looks really good.
I've
Okay,
written
all right.
down a list of everything that you said. so
Great.
I know what
Okay,
I'm
all
on.
right. Well, yeah, I think you're doing a great job, honestly. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Sarah, good. You're knocking out the models. Really good. I think you're doing the coding as well. You're doing loads of stuff. Really good. Concept art's really good. Okay, but again, I think I'll say this to all anyone modelling: avoid those straight lines.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
need to
all right.
do.
Okay, it makes a
Work
big
on it.
difference. Yeah. Okay.
I think
So-
I've been focusing more on figuring out the textures rather than that. than
yeah,
trying to see how
don't
they
rely
work,
on
but-
just the textures, okay?
Yeah.
A bit like I think the Forge looks great, but again, it's too nice. Okay, all right.
We can't have it too
Okay,
much.
yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah. So we'll go around the room. Yeah, Ben J.
Yeah.
Good. You're starting to speed up a little bit now.
Yeah, I gotta say
That's
now,
really good.
I've got substance down now. I'm
Yeah,
starting
and
to
all
get
that stuff I've been
faster.
showing you, you're starting to do some really good stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
And again, I think just keep the speed up.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
getting there now.
definitely.
Okay, I'm getting a lot more like it now. Okay, I'm really pleased about that. You're knocking it out really good.
Oh, thank
Okay, all right. But I think I'll say this to all the 3D team. Though I think you all need to speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Because in reality, if I was doing this, a lot of these models take like 3 or 4 hours to do in texture. That's the sort of speed
Yeah.
if you're going. It take a whole week to do one. It should be like 3 or 4 hours.
I think I've worked out why I take so slow. I'm too anal. That's my main problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, a lot of it's though is that some of you, again, I don't want to point your fingers, but you've got to learn to look at how other people do it and not just jump in. And some people are still doing that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
all right.
that's.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you're doing it still.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah, okay,
I know
all right.
that.
Ben was doing it, but you're learning less now. haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, okay.
I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
hopefully.
I'm not having a go, but I've got to be honest, so you improve basically.
Yeah, it's just,
okay?
you just all you're doing is just telling us what we need to improve.
Exactly. And just take it that way. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not having a go at anybody, but if you want to improve,
Just got to do
you've got to
this,
listen,
this.
basically.
Just do this,
Yeah.
and this.
Okay. All right. Okay. Like I said,
Good
right.
tip for 3D modelers is to look at Sketchfab.
Yes. Yes.
What?
Okay.
Sketchfab is great.
What's that?
Sketchfab. It's where other people upload their stuff for you to look at, and you'll
You
see
can
the
also
difference.
look at
Okay.
ArtStation, that's also part
Yeah.
of it anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, the biggest thing most people do still wrong at the moment is you're not making an object out of a single cube. Try and do that as much as possible. All right. So rather than like booting things in or attaching other meshes like cylinders or wheels, okay, try and do the whole thing as one. As it's not always possible, but do your best to do it from one thing. All right.
Triangle's one thing, I think that's why
It's
it's
the.
a bit too straight on certain parts.
Yeah.
So I've just used one block, but
Yeah, it's just like when you unwrap things, if you've got like a cylinder inside a box like that and literally just join it together, edit mesh or something like that, you've got all those polys inside this thing.
So just attach them
Okay.
and then
Yeah. Well, no. So what you should be doing is, if you've got like a box, you should be putting enough vertices on that box to extrude that way to create a circular thing.
Yeah.
Or if you are going to create a cylinder to join onto that, okay, if possible, have other vertices join onto the box with it. Okay. Or if you do have to do, sometimes you do, like a cylinder onto a box, make sure that inner surface here look is gone, because if you don't, you're going to have that polygon there look, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
But you'll still have to unwrap it. Right, just little tricks, but it does slow you right down if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you do come to do it in substance, whoops, hang on. It's got a timer on it, it's a real pain in the ass. Anyway, I'll carry on. Yeah, so substance, if you've got, if you haven't done it as one single mesh, okay, it won't look as nice. Okay, right, because you haven't got those physical joints between the elements, if you know what I mean. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
You also have to do texturing the long way.
Yes. Well,
At some point, can you show me how to extrude from rocks? It needs a cylinder bit because I get confused with
there's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah,
If you look at hard surface modelling
hard stuff.
on YouTube, okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. So yeah, all right. Another thing, again, if you use, I think Adam just discovered it a minute ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'll use it as an example. He's making a cart basically, but he's made the cart in like separate sections. Okay.
Yeah.
The only problem with that, if you just scale anything up, each one of those separate sections has got its own pivot point. So if you try to scale anything up or down, they're all going to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you get this one object, you can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I can look at that and hopefully work
okay.
on that
All right.
next time.
Yeah.
What about if you attach them before scaling anything?
Sometimes that works, not always. Okay. All right.
That's what I'm trying to figure out now.
Yeah, okay. It all depends on, a lot of it has to do with, like I said, if you've got actual physical vertices joined to another thing, it's normally okay. But if it's floating around inside another thing, it might go a bit wonky.
Yeah, sometimes when I do things that are separate models, like the fence is separate objects, but that's because none of them quite touch another thing.
Make sure you're not touching that cable, because that's what's doing that.
I think I accidentally left once.
I tend to, if I'm joining stuff together, I tend to go to places and then weld the vertices together that I need together. That works a bit.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of extra time. But
Yeah, it does take time. But I say it's worth doing. Okay, all right. Again, unwrapping, another common issue. Okay, try. What you got to do, I think Kelly's tried it. I think Rebecca might have tried it. I haven't shown you how to do it yet, but I might do it next term. I haven't done it this term because I think we haven't had time to do it. Using something called UDIMs. Okay, so basically what you can do is you can, and I think Rebecca does it as well a little bit, is you can create a separate unwrap for different sections of a model. And that allows you to render stuff at a much higher resolution, so you get the texture look a lot nicer. With little things like this, I wouldn't bother. But things like the tower and bigger things like that, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'll go with that probably next time. Okay. Yeah, and when you're unwrapping, give space in that little square to the biggest objects. Because there's no point in giving, I don't know, the bottom of a vase, that circular thing on the bottom of the vase, loads of space if you're hardly going to see it. It's the stuff on the outside that are going to be close to camera. Give that much bigger space inside that chunk. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Cameron, you've got to pull your finger out, mate.
I know.
You didn't do anything at all last week, okay? And you got quite an important job.
I know.
I know. You say this every week, Cameron. I don't want to have a go at you.
I know.
Okay. You know. Okay. All right. Okay. You didn't do anything at all this week. Okay. Poor old Jay's done loads of coding this week. And we haven't got a character yet. And it's been like 11 weeks. Okay. All right. You're supposed to be the concept person and the character person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're pretty much waiting on you at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And it's not just that character. We're supposed to have, I think I said it quite a few weeks ago. Male, female, fat, thin, skinny. Okay.
Really
So
different body types.
yeah, so what we can do that if you've got one base model, it's easier not to do the other. We can do it from that one.
And just like
Okay.
copy and paste
Yeah,
it.
and just change the texture a little bit to make it female or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well we've got to have that model done so other people take it over.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll talk about in a minute. I think what we need to do is, like I said, typical agile management. We've got to. I think we need a female character. I think we need a child. Okay, and maybe if you get the time, maybe a fat person or something. So a bit of variance. Okay, all right.
Just very.
And all we got to do then is vary like the texture a little bit on each one, male and female. Maybe differ the hats or something, a little bit of clothing difference or whatever. Okay, done. Okay, all right. Jay, brilliant. No problems at all, basically. Okay.
No complaints.
You're doing loads of stuff. Really good.
Yeah.
Keep that up. You're doing a brilliant job.
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
fine. Again, I think the same as everybody else, you've just got to speed up.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think I'm pretty
All right.
much the same. I've got
Yeah.
to speed up as
all,
well.
all the 3D guys have got to speed up. More
I
than
think
anything.
that's one.
Okay, all right.
That's one of the main things I'm lacking on. Is I'm a bit too
Yeah.
slow when it comes to modelling.
Yeah, okay, and like I said, please, like I said, we don't want time now really, but when you get given a project, take the time to look at how other people do it. And I keep telling you this, I still do that. It doesn't matter how simple it is, I will go online and see if there's another way of doing it.
One thing I think I have already started to do that a little bit with my specialism project, looking at how other people are.
You've got to do that all the time, okay, alright, because it will save you a lot of time, okay? And believe it or not, it might waste 2 or 3 weeks at the start, but once you know how to do it, your model will look a lot better, okay,
Yeah.
alright? I've already talked about you, okay, alright, just speed up.
Yeah, that's why.
And like I said, take into everything I can that I've said, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, alright, okay. Kelly's fine from what I've seen of it. Rebecca's doing an outstanding job. Okay. Alright, so with that all in mind, okay, what we've got to do, so I'm giving you, we've basically got another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm being incredibly generous there.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, alright, so I hope you realise that, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so please do not waste it. Okay, alright? Cameron especially, don't waste it. So, if I was marking this right now, you'd be failing. Okay, alright, so you've got 3 weeks to pull it out of the bag.
Okay.
Okay, alright, okay.
If someone else did a model as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Okay, alright. So like I said, what we're going to do now is there's a few things that need doing between now and after Christmas, basically. Okay, alright. I think Emily and Chloe, you know exactly what you've got to do pretty much, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Modelers, you just got to knock it out of the park, and when you finish your model, you've got to give it to those two.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Because I think Emily's crying out for content, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, alright. So it's no good. Yeah.
So as soon as it's completely done, put it on like OneDrive.
You don't need to let her know though, tell her it's there. Okay,
Yeah.
alright, okay, alright. Yes, you got to communicate, alright, because some of you
Use
want to
your
talk to.
words.
I see you on Discord, but it's like some things you're not talking actually about. So 3D content, yeah.
I have found that sometimes when people put a question, rather than actually responding, even if it's a no or a negative thing, there's no actual response. People just ignore it because they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like I put up, I think the other day on has anyone got an alarm sound, and I got no response. And I was like, you could just say no, so I don't have to go traipsing through your files.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing, do you have a specific time or a day that you're all online at one point? Do you?
No.
I'm pretty much online all the time.
But that needs to change.
I
Okay.
have got access
Yeah.
constantly. It just comes up on my phone.
Yeah,
So I
but
am
what I think,
technically
what we've done in the past, especially the BA guys in the past, okay, we had a specific time of day where everybody has to be online, even if it's just for like half an hour. Okay, all right, whenever you sort it out between yourselves.
I'm
Yeah,
entirely
okay, alright.
on
I'm
that.
also
okay.
going to note again that Jaden, you maybe need to interact a little bit more.
I need to be pinged to be interacted with.